I think sometimes you have to fake who you are because people may think like, oh, I just have to be this certain person at every interview. It's more like you kind of have to be strategic also about it, right?
My name's Holly, and today we have an extra special episode to start your year. I am joined with Maria.
Hello.
And Maria was from Colombia originally, but she was an international student in the UK and now works here. So, Maria, when did you plan to stay and work in the UK after graduation? Was it something that you always wanted, or was it something that you decided while you were at university?
So I came to London for the first time when I was 17 years old. And when I came back to do some studies, I knew that I wanted to stay for the long term in the UK.
Yeah. And when you were initially looking for a job, were there any skills that you felt were essential to kind of getting your foot in the door?
Yes, I think having some sort of soft skills is essential, like knowing how to sell yourself, knowing how to express an idea, how to have a conversation, maybe have some eye to detail, and also like being able to listen and respond. I think mostly soft skills are very important at the start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I really realised how important the soft skills were as soon as I got my first graduate job. They really help to enhance your career in the long term. So how did you go about showcasing your skills to employers, and was there anything kind of specific that you did to stand out?
I think what I did is that I made sure I read what was the kind of like the job specification, and depending on the skills that were listed there, I would just make sure that when I was in the interview, I would mention I had those skills, or I would just, I don't know, let's say they want someone that is well presented. So I would make sure I would go like neat and like I would give that professional presence. I don't know if you experienced like
it's very similar, kind of making sure that you're reading and looking at the exact application for the job that you're applying for, and really kind of finding out if you meet those specific needs that they're asking for.
I think sometimes you have to fake who you are because people may think like, oh, I just have to be this certain person at every interview. It's more like you kind of have to be strategic also about it, right?
Yeah, and I think it's an interpretation thing too. So, you know, if they ask, for example, for someone who is a good communicator, like there are so many ways that you can say that you're good at communicating, like studying English. You know, I wrote a lot of essays. There were a lot of kind of debates in class. That was my way of showing kind of how I've learned to communicate at university. And yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. Did you find the same, that you could kind of adapt your skills to what they were asking for?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And looking back, is there a skill or trait that you wish you developed more before entering the job market?
I gotta say, like probably data analytics and CRM systems, like customer relationship management systems, because even in everything we do, there's always like something behind that makes everything work. And that is not soft skills anymore. It's more on the hard skills, right? So anyone can sell themselves, but when it comes to the actual work, there's a lot of hard skills that I wish I have had. So I would say data. I don't know if you use data at your work nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I know kind of working in content, there was a lot of terminology that I just kind of hadn't had experience with, wasn't aware of. As you said, CRM, SEO. I didn't know any of that when I started my job. So yeah, I think it's worth kind of looking into those sorts of things and making sure you kind of know what you need to know as soon as possible. So finally, is there any advice that you would give to current students who are hoping to build skills that will set them apart in the job market?
Yes, I think main advice for me would be start working from now. Don't wait until you graduate. Find a part-time job or apply to an internship. Even if the company doesn't pay you, that's fine. As soon as you can get, as you were saying, like as soon as you can be in the office. Because let's say, I don't know what was your experience, but let's say you had found a job before you graduated, then you would know all this terminology even before you land a job. So once you land an actual job, you would actually feel related to the environment. You will come with so much confidence because it's not the first time you're doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, there are so many ways to get work experience, right? I mean, part-time jobs, there's kind of internships, sometimes you can apply to kind of shadow someone within a company.
Exactly.
And was there any kind of work experience that you did while you were at university?
I actually was leading a group that was called like management group inside the university.
Yeah.
And we had to develop events and projects for the university for free. And at that point, I had to manage a group of like more than 100 people for like 6 months.
Nice.
So it was really challenging. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about myself. And sometimes I would ask myself, why am I doing this for free? Like, how is this helping me? But then when you go to the job market, you realize it was worth it. So
yeah, definitely. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Big thank you,
I really enjoyed.
for
Thank you
joining
very
me.
much.
Thank you. And we'll see you next time on When I Was a Student.
Bye.
Bye.